Welcome back. Let's take you back to our top story for the moment. Jacob Zuma's corruption trial resuming in the High Court in Pietermaritzburg this morning. The former president is facing 16 charges of fraud, graft and racketeering, all relating to the 1999 arms deal when he was deputy president. The trial started back in May after numerous postponements and delays, and Zuma has been jailed for unrelated contempt of court. Well, for a recap of the case and where we are in the proceedings, it's all getting very complicated. Let's try and make sense of it now. I'm joined by a lawyer at the UJ Law Clinic. It's Mr. Elton Hart. Elton, morning to you. And it seems that the judge this morning is going to have a lot more to deal with than the various charges facing the former president, issues around this virtual trial and the request for Billy Downer to recuse himself. I mean, this is what's holding up this court case at the moment, isn't it?
Indeed, Gareth, that is actually what is still on the table. And obviously, they need to now first deal with the issue as to if Advocate Billy Downer will continue with the case, because there was an application brought for him to step aside because they felt that he unduly influenced the investigation. So that needs to be dealt with. And then obviously, the former statesman is currently in custody in escort, which means he will have to now appear in court via the AVR system. That will also maybe have some complications and delays in what's happening this morning. And obviously there will be a lot of nitty-gritties, but I think the best way this morning would be to postpone the matter so that there is like sort of a mini pre-trial type of thing, just to iron out how they will go about these things before they can actually start with the actual trial. Obviously we know that the former statesman now already pleaded not guilty, so I think the witnesses also needs to be lined up as to who would be called. Because of the pandemic, you cannot have a whole host of witnesses sitting outside court waiting to be called one after the other.
How much of an issue is the current situation in the country, Elton, when it comes to the safety outside the courtroom? The reason I'm asking is Siphamandla Goge is outside the court for us. We've seen SANDF and SAPS. How much of what happens outside a courtroom will a judge take into account regarding safety and, obviously, during COVID-19, the various protocols that need to be followed?
Obviously, Gareth, as a judge in law, it also takes common sense to make rulings, to make certain decisions as to how you're going to run with the process. So we know that our country comes from a heavy violent protest last week, and that was in the name of the former state president, that they're saying that they were actually protesting against his incarceration. So now this court case is shortly on the heels of that. I would think if I was the judge in this matter, I would have postponed the matter so that we can actually wait for people to calm down so that we can actually deal with this cause. If something happens in court that some of these people that claims to be protesting in the name of the former state president, it might just start a new riot altogether. And obviously with the SNDF outside court, it shows that the government is serious about making sure that something unruly doesn't happen outside court. But a judge will have to take into consideration, and we don't know if the witnesses has been summoned to come to court that will testify against the former president. And these people outside might just now interfere with these witnesses or even harm them.
Just in the last minute I have with you, Elton, we've spoken about the recusal, the possible recusal of Billy Downer. Can we, before I say goodbye, talk about this virtual court issue? Both the former president and Tyler, as I understand, saying they would like to appear in person. If they have chosen to rather appear in person, can the court deny that request and rather insist on a virtual hearing? Can they go as far as that?
If everyone has possibly got problems...
Yes, Gareth, obviously these things will all play a role and they want to appear in person, but that is now also there's a safety concern to actually now get the president from the escort present to the court where he's supposed to appear. So it's now from escort to Pietermaritzburg. So there's also some security concerns about transporting him there. And obviously also we know that if we see the president is coming to court, then you'll also have a lot of people. And currently with the pandemic, maybe protocols might be broken. So I would think using the AVR system would be the best one to actually just try and curb and stop any possible harm or violating of regulations, where violating of the regulations is concerned. So for me, that would be the best thing. And obviously, just on that point that you touched on the recusal of Advocate Billy Downer, I don't think it's up to the defense to decide who must prosecute the case, but I think maybe the NPA will maybe choose another prosecutor to do the matter, but I think Advocate Billy Downer has come a long way with this case already.
It looks like it's going to be a very busy admin morning for the court, long before we get to the actual heart of what is happening in this court case. Well, Elton Hart, for the moment, thank you very much. What a pleasure. Litigation lawyer at the UJ Law Clinic, ahead of what is supposed to be the court case for the former president entirely, set to start at 10 o'clock. We wait to see if that happens. Here's now